Greetings, dear ones. It is Wednesday, the 5th of February, 2025. And I just wanted to pop on and just transmit some of the energetics that have been coming forward for myself, colleagues, clients, in the hopes that it might benefit and ease some of what you may be experiencing. And, excuse me, sorry. Many of you know that I've stated in previous posts the statement, it's not politics, it's evolution. And that is truly coming to the foreground more than we want. But just wanted to share a little bit, just to let you know that as people work their own personal aspects individually, and for me with my clients and the process that I've created over many decades, this is a process that takes them very, very, very deeply into potentially even the root of the root, where the wound got fixated in their system, and literally transmuting it out of their being, out of their reality. That's at its depth. And to give a couple examples, my client yesterday evening, she is just all my clients are amazing beings, but she is truly an amazing being, an artist in and through what she does, just has her own business and just works it as the highest level of integrity and honor. And I have just such respect and admiration for her as a person, as a business owner, and many other things. And she came in last night with a piece regarding, that when she comes home from work, her husband has different hours in his schedule. And when she comes home from work, he's sitting on the couch, and he's sitting on the couch every single day. And she became angry and was able to see in her own exploration that it was triggering her was this same experience that she had growing up. And some of the words coming out were, how can you sit there all day? Why aren't you doing something? Why aren't you, taking care of our home? Why aren't you doing some of the things that would make it comfortable for other people to come in? Why aren't you, don't you have any pride in your own home and how it looks and how it feels? Why aren't you making our home into something where we as a family can live? And she was just referring to her husband. But as it turns out, all of these were statements that she was making to her mother, that for a long period of time was immobile, just emotionally, was not cleaning house, was not cooking food, was not preparing, was not shopping, was not providing that which her children absolutely and vitally needed. So, we worked the piece through very, very deeply, and it struck me and her to a certain extent that these are kind of the same statements that we are making to our political representatives. Like, why aren't you doing anything? Why are you just sitting there? Why aren't you making this, our home, a better and safer place? Why aren't you providing for us? Why don't you have any pride in your own home? Why don't you want to make your home, inviting to guests? So, if you take that on a larger context towards our country, all of those statements can be what many people are feeling. She worked it through very, very deeply and came to a place of being able to have great pride in her own internal home, in what she's doing internally, how she is welcoming herself into her own home spiritually and through, deeper meditation and other means of connecting to her, feeling and preparing the home for her experience of her divine self. So that's what it ultimated in her. And I have to absolutely know, and in working with with colleagues and friends, that what is occurring is absolutely touching into the deepest wounds personally of our own childhood experiences, but our long history as well. And another client this evening she is an extreme sensitive, can, just with a slight rotation of her energy field, fall into other existences that she has had or will have. She's very aware of that. And one of the ones that she was relating didn't mean to go into there, didn't mean to bring that forward, but she popped into an existence where she was literally terrified. There was torture going on, and she was trapped. And then when she was finally let go to live on her own in an apartment or whatever, she felt horrible sadness and guilt at leaving a beloved of hers in this place. There wasn't anything that she could do about it, but these were her sensations in this existence. And this isn't something she's imagining, it isn't in her vision. This is literally, she full out feels with her physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and energetic bodies. So that's how you can tell it's a real, it doesn't take long, but you literally rotate into it or fall into an existence where within a matter of moments you have a full out experience, life experience. And as we were working, some of the, words that were coming out is, how can you do this to me? How dare you scare me like this? How dare you put me in this position? How dare you treat me like this? How dare you be so insensitive to what I'm experiencing? And it related back, what came up was her experience as a little one when her parents would fight, but her father would get very, very loud and very, very angry. And she experienced, at least on one occasion, if not more, her father laying hands on her mother. And as a little one, this is utterly terrifying. This is tantamount to us being in a war. And because the little energy field is not fully formed, they're completely and utterly wide open. The tenderness is so acute that something that we would not consider maybe upsetting but not terrifying to a child is very, very different. And so, it dovetailed with this, her current life experience and this other existence to a much greater degree in that other existence. But it's much of what we are living and experiencing right here, right now. The abject terror of what is happening to our country, to individuals, to what will be happening, what people are aware of is occurring and will occur. And being trapped in it, that was one of the large sensations that she had, being trapped in it and having no control. And so many are experiencing that right now in its utmost extreme. So the fact that both of these clients were able to, in their own personal, individual transmutation of these deep, deep wounds, it literally is reflective on the larger scale of our country and, of course, on a planetary level. So my deepest of gratitude, honor, it knows no bounds for the depths to which my clients are willing to go and do go, and the breadth and width of the effects on our culture, our country, our world, our species, because it's very evident both to them and to me, those wide-reaching effects. And it is only when you go to those depths can you really experience and know that you're transmuting and transfiguring lineage, cultural, whatever culture your family's originally from, and the culture you're living in here, which most of them are in the United States right now. And that this be out of our species, that no longer after this occurrence will there be the possibility of one small group or one individual imposing such terror on others. The absolute inability to control what these people, these men are doing. And it occurs in many, many countries. Africa has been going through this for the past weeks once again, and Congo and Rwanda, and we see it all over the world. So please know that whatever level at which you are doing any internal work, any particularly emotional work, see the reflection, or I have other clients who are triggered by what's going on, and it awakens those same patterns, those same dynamics within them that they experienced. And again, with that work, we are evolving these aspects of human nature out of our species. And while that's all fine and good, and we have this onslaught. So some of the energetics that came in last night for my client last night, for my client tonight. I was working with a colleague this morning. She's in Europe, and some of the very basic building blocks, even before the basic building blocks of matter, but the basic building blocks of a concept of a universe, is what we've been working in for quite some time. In these new forms of light that are coming onto the planet, physics, I'm getting articles all the time. There's new types of light being identified, being discovered. And this isn't just light within the spectrum that we are able to perceive. These are new forms of light entirely. Photons, of course, we're well aware of, but there's just these almost the physics of these forms of light do not necessarily conform to the physics that we're used to. So all of the physics of this universe are actually changing. So a lot of that is coming in this evening, and I'm going to call it in. And so I invite you right now to just get comfortable in your chair, or your couch, or in this particular instance, I generally ask people to sit up, but you're welcome to lay down, because I'm going to be transmitting pretty deeply, pretty quickly, and it might actually feel like you're falling asleep moving into another altered state, or a hypnagogic state, which is that halfway in and out, much like when you're beginning to fall asleep or slowly waking up, that in between place. So just get comfortable, seated or lying down, and I invite you to just notice your breath. Not do anything with it, not correct it, not deepen it unless your body actually wants to feel a deeper breath. And just notice that is life. You are still in this life. You are still part of this life. You are still choosing to be here. However horrible, difficult, painful, terrifying, infuriating it may be, your soul has purpose. And discerning what you are called to do physically, taking actions is one thing, but I encourage everyone to choose to internally transform, so this evolution that is occurring even more rapidly than I have been speaking about. I've been saying for years and years that this is an evolutionary process that's happening in a generation and a half to 2 generations rather than 200 to 300, 400 years. And it's actually happening much faster than that. So it does have to be intense to be fast. And so right now, those who are attuned to their own energy field, those who are aware of energetic sensations, may have been experiencing prior to this past couple of weeks, but maybe more so, or for the first time, a kind of breaking down or dismantlement, much like we're seeing in our democracy, our government. But it's not releasing, getting rid of, handling, managing the old, adjusting is not obviously enough to move us through this insanely accelerated evolutionary leap. You may be feeling in your body sensations, whether it's heaviness, substantive, thickness, chaos, turmoil. Please allow your system to feel and experience whatever is happening here and now. Not changing it, not judging it, not falling into someone else's idea of how it should be when you're going into a healing or a meditation, but simply what is. Feel whatever there is to feel right now. Physically, energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. For it is the welcoming of all parts of you into this container, this crucible that allows for an alchemical blending, friction, bouncing for an ultimate transmutation. And when I speak of transmutation, it is turning one thing into something else entirely. Much like homeopathics can take a poison and ultimately turn it into a healing tincture. And that is what we're doing on a large scale. Transmuting human nature itself. Ultimating in the evolution of our genes so that the human species becomes radically different than what it has been for thousands of years. And those of you who have worked with me or have experienced this form of energetic practice previously with me, you know that you need not follow the words. They are only there as a means of transmitting the energetics and to let you know that I am still here online so that you can close your eyes and allow your body, your energy field, your wider self, which is your soul self, your guides, teachers, masters, angels, allowing all of you to do what it knows best to do. There's no effort needed, no work, no goal, no intention. Simply allowing your system to do what it knows how to do. When these forms of energetics are available to your system. So I am invoking certain spiritual laws and the new way of law. I am calling in and calling upon masters from a specific mountain range here in the United States, in the West, Northwest, I'm calling in and calling upon certain portal masters as these energetics from a future form of humans, not that far in the future, I'm calling in and calling upon origin concept, the origin concept of the new universe. And once again, I am calling in and calling upon the new forms, the new light forms in, through, and beyond the physics of our reality. And I'm calling in and calling upon the dark. And that's not dark as in bad or evil, but the pure, beautiful, soothing, rich, dark of the night sky, or of dark energy, dark matter. Dark oxygen was recently discovered. No connotation of danger or evil, but on the contrary, that out of any deep, rich, true, pure dark forms in light, through light, of light. And again, you need not follow any of these words, concepts. Just feel. Just allow. Just surrender to your own systems, wisdom, knowing, experience. And simply feel, letting your third eye and your frontal lobe go relax somewhere else. Out of the driver's seat, so that you can deeply imbibe and intake for that beautiful, majestic, rich, dark has such soothing, such comfort through its enwrapment. We experience for 9 months that darkness. hopefully as we sleep, comforting and secure and safe. And we have another very prime law presenting. It's kind of a font from which a pure, honorable, honoring, integrity way of law, taking all parties into account, just as we have progressed and developed and evolved our societies to move from an eye for an eye to the complex and sophisticated law systems in our world today, this new way of law allows for a new society, a new human civilization. Again, if you're familiar with your energy field, you need not be, but if you are, you may notice a lot happening physically as well as energetically in your body. You need not notice anything. Simply allow, simply receive, simply imbibe. For the energetics are strong and deep. Very, very concentrated. A little bit goes a long way. And again, if you're feeling yourself just nodding off or asleep, that's fine. Just gonna take it another notch, wider as well as deeper. Again, don't have to know what that means. Simply allow. Simply receive. Simply be you. Here. So there is a powerful infusion of it's kind of how you would stroke a dog or kitten's back, or even a baby's. And it's embedding deeply in the lower chakras, allowing for very, very deep and very, very wide sense of security and safety. While at the same time there is an activation, an enlivening, an awakening, an opening, an accessing of the very essence of you. So that you may feel this eternality of you, this essence of you. Remembering you are an individuation of the divine, and an eternal soul, with complete free will, as we develop, create, freedom in a wholly new way. On this planet and beyond. And your very presence here, now, at this point in time, is embedding and anchoring your own particular flavor of freedom, your own desire and dream of what freedom is. And that is stronger and more powerful than any one man government society. And to really feel the words of the great Master Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "Remember that all through history there have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time they seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall. Always." You are very welcome to stay in these energetics and just sleep, nap a little longer. Or if you feel or need to come back into life and do things, then allow your system to bring you back to this physical consensus reality in your way, not in the way anyone else has told you, and not in anyone else's timing, but in your own pace, your own form, your own rhythm. For some people, it's like floating down like a leaf. For some people, it's spiraling back up. For some people, it's just bubbling. For some, it's just feeling that in between, non-physical, physical, much like as I likened it to when you're waking up. So, please feel free to listen to the energetics of this recording over and over. I'll put it on YouTube. It'll be here on Facebook. Share it with anybody you know if it benefited you, and allow them to experience this deep, soothing security, solace. Until next time, dear ones, as always, it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on the planet. See you soon.